Good afternoon, Carl.
Greetings, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm really excited to see that the artistically Sharpie drawn blue sofa is now signed. It's signed. It's a car. Like, you got CR down there. It's a Carl Richards original now. So like,
I'm gonna add it's outside because I'm feeling like the need to be outside now.
Oh,
so that's
all right. It's got a little green
that's
going.
green grass.
So I like this. This is like, we are escalating the value of this drawing. Someday this will be in a museum somewhere. If you take a picture of it, you can sell it as an NFT.
Yeah, let's auction this off as an NFT with the proceeds to go to the whatever financial planning
Foundation for Financial Planning.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. It's done.
All right. So for all those who are listening, like, if you want to see the picture of the blue couch Sharpie drawing go out as an NFT, I actually have no idea how to do that. But if you want that to happen, we will make that happen. Apparently, Carl knows how to make that happen because he knows cooler people than I do. So
yeah.
if you want to see the next stage of the blue couch getting digitized, now's the moment. Now's the moment. So tweet us at Behavior Gap at Michael Kitces.
I know some of you guys are digital natives and would love. I'm actually not joking. So if we get enough feedback on that, the easy way to do it would, just email, go put it in the comments. You can go follow me on Foundation, whatever / Behavior Gap on Foundation. We would totally do that and then auction it off. That would be really fun.
Fantastic.
All right.
So for our discussion today, I wanted to actually follow up on a conversation that it kind of queued up for us last episode, where we were talking about all these dynamics of, clients kind of shoehorn us into a box sometimes, particularly if we end up leading with a product, or if you buy a firm from someone that had led with products, it's hard to reposition ourselves. And Carl, that you had this great discussion at the end about, at the end of the day, we have to live at this intersection of a need that clients have and a problem that we could solve. And like, if they don't have the problem and you can't solve it, and they don't know that you can solve it, like, if those things don't work together, just business ain't happening no matter how much you want it to.
Right.
And I was struck, because in the meantime, we'd gotten this question in from an advisor that I've heard before. I'm sure you have as well, where he'd said, look, like, consumers pay professionals for expertise to solve problems, right? It's like, we hire plumbers and electricians and mechanics and doctors and lawyers and accountants. Yet, as this person had put it, many people seem to refuse, or they ignore, or they don't understand the critical issues that financial advisors can solve. Why? Which to me sort of speaks to something about that intersection that you set up between, like, people having the problem and knowing that we can solve the problem. Like, something's out of whack here. So what's out of whack? Like, why do plumbers, electricians, mechanics, doctors, lawyers, and attorneys have people call them, and not a lot of people call us, at least for most of us, and what we do? We got a prospect, we got to get out there, we got to make the business happen. They're not calling us the way that they seem to be calling everyone else. So as this person put it, like, they don't seem to get or ignore or refuse, like, the critical issues that advisors solve. Where's the mismatch here? Like, how do you think about this?
Yeah, this is going to be so fun because there's so much here. Like I love the plumber. Let's just stick with the plumber. I don't wake up in the morning thinking I have a plumbing problem until I do. And when I do, I call a plumber. Like, I've tried a couple of times to get under there, and my wife is like, now she's like, no, please, no, that will cause more problems. So now I know exactly, like, I don't have a mechanic problem on my car. I don't wake up in the morning. I don't spend any time thinking about, I've got a mechanic problem. I've got a mechanical problem with my car until I do. And then when I do, the first thing, I don't even open the hood. I've tried that. I open it. I've never found the sign that says reconnect this. Like, it just doesn't work. So I call a mechanic. So I think we have the same challenge here, and we can talk. So it's either it's two problems. What we talked about in the last episode, like, and I'm going to use language here I'm not comfortable with, but the analogy works so well. Let's just talk about it this way for a minute. Please, we'll break it down a bit. Two things have to happen. Somebody has to know they're sick, and they have to believe that you're the doctor. If
I
they
believe
know,
you got a cure.
yeah, if they know they're sick, and I don't like this language at all because and I think we'll actually get to talk about this. Like we can say problem. No, there's no language I like about this unless we talk about it some more. So let's just stick with sick. Like if they know they're sick and they don't believe you're the doctor, they're not going to call you. They don't even know you exist. They're not going to call you. So that's problem. That's one problem. The second problem is if they know that you have lots of solutions, people don't care about your solutions until they know they have a problem, right? So those things have to happen. And what normally, let me just give a little context for this because we have so many places to go. What normally we conclude from that discussion, and you can see this in the industry speaking broadly, and it drives me nuts, is we normally conclude from that discussion, like that reality, is that what we need to do in our marketing and education is educate people on how sick they are. Right? So we need to tell them they have a plumbing problem. We need to tell them,
which I think is the context of this person. Like they don't understand the critical issues I solve, for which I think at least the implications, like, so I help them understand their critical issues that I solve, right? ...
Yeah, and that would be, I think that's what the conclusion, I think the broad industry, speaking large, the traditional financial services industry, that's been the approach we've traditionally taken. It's a little bit like kind of throwing a client, throwing the public in a pit, and then looking down and saying, hey, I'm the only one with a rope. Now, I've just never felt like that's a good way to start a relationship. I don't think people like being treated that way. And I also don't think I like treating people that way. And so I think the better way to, and we can talk about ways to accelerate this, which I know you're going to want to get to, right? Like the better way to do this is let the plumbing problem happen on its own, right? Life will present the problem. I get ready to go on my first trip outside of the country, my wife and I together with kids. Like we're not taking our kids, we're leaving our kids. I remember that. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, we have no custodial work done, right? I remember realizing that, wow, we better get some life insurance. Well, that nobody needed to inform me that I had a problem. Life informed me. How many times have clients walked in and said, I don't know what to do with this portfolio. I just inherited this money. I just sold this business. Those things happen on their own. I think it's much better. There's no magic words to say. I don't think. Except when those things happen, the plumbing problem happens, I want to think of you. And the only way I know to accelerate both of those is to specialize, right? Is to be really clear about the problems you solve and for whom. So that's my context. Where do you want to go with that?
Yeah, I like where you brought that, which is sort of this specializing. To me, it comes down to the fact that, like, I think we have sort of two related issues. One, the truth is a lot of the stuff we offer really isn't actually that critical of an issue.
Wait.
We
back up. So you're saying a lot of the stuff we do really isn't that critical.
Yeah, in a world where I see more and more firms, we deliver comprehensive plans. We have the best expertise in the most comprehensive plans, and we're more experter than everybody else. We do a lot of like more deeper. But from the clients, are like, I don't know what you solve. I don't know what you do. Like, I don't know what I get out of that. And so we've tried to evolve that way a little bit further. Like, I bring you peace of mind. Like, no, like I have a lot of stress right now in a lot of different ways. Like, much of it is not even financial. Like, I'm not going to go to you and have peace of mind because, I've also got marital issues and my kids are sick and my job is rocky and there's all this other stuff. So like, thank you so much for sorting out my portfolio. and getting me back on track for retirement. But like, I have a lot of other stuff in my life. You are not getting me a moment of zen off of this. Like it sort of reminds me of like a plumber that says, we don't fix toilets, we bring you housing peace of mind. Good luck. And it's not that I don't get wonderful peace of mind if like my toilet is broken and flooding and I call a plumber and they fix it. I am like totally chill and relax when they come and fix my problem, because I was totally freaking out when it was happening. Like I do get to peace of mind as an end state, maybe around my housing distress, but like, you don't bring housing peace of mind. You just literally fix broken toilets. And that's awesome. That's what I need from my plumber. And we don't want to sell that we fixed the thing. We're trying to sell the housing peace of mind, and then we can't figure out why no one wants to buy it.
Yeah, you certainly didn't call for housing peace of mind. You didn't call because you have a great investment policy committee. You didn't call because you have a lighthouse on the front of your website. You didn't call because you I can simplify your life. We didn't call because we help you live a life of dignity, right? Like those are things we learn after.
Yeah, and like, not that they're bad outcomes, but I think that the piece that we miss, and you know, getting to this advisor's question, is I don't think we do a good job of actually defining the issues that are truly critical in the client's mind in the first place. I mean, it really is the stuff that keeps you up at night, stuff that wakes you up at night, stuff that won't let you fall back asleep because you woke up and you're too stressed about. Like, that's the kind of stuff that people get off their duff and go see someone about, go see an advisor about. Like, what is it when you get down to those critical issues? And you know, we may find the answer to that critical issue by going through the financial planning process, but that person's not up at 3 a.m. unable to fall back asleep because they don't have a comprehensive financial plan.
Right.
It's something else. And so to me, just you know, as this person has set it up, like people, and I'm putting words in their mouth a little, that, you know, he said people like refuse and don't understand the critical issues that advisors solve. You know, like, I feel like we have to own this little. I don't think we understand and articulate very well sometimes the critical issues that we solve, right? Just when I think about, like, again, I'm going to pick on peace of mind a little, just because there was a meme for a while in our industry where that was like the hot thing to try to market and say, like, look, we don't give people, like, we don't sell peace of mind. I may help you fix your financial disorganization. I help people fix broken portfolios. I help people fix when their money is completely misaligned to what's actually important to them. When you do those things and you solve them, you may feel a lot of peace of mind. You may get to a much better place. Like, I don't sell peace of mind. I help people fix broken portfolios or broken financial disorganization or something else that's broken. And just thinking about what's the broken thing that you fix. You know, you won't come out with a lot of, we offer comprehensive financial planning. The planning might be the process to do the fix, but it's not the fix.
We could go, this is so, like, I love the question. Here's something you should steal and use. Like, I love to ask myself the question, like, I'm not sure people wake up in the morning thinking they have a financial peace of mind problem. Do they? Like ask that question among your marketing team. Like, do people? No, nobody wakes up in the morning. Like, I always, like, we think about that constantly. Do people wake up in the morning thinking they need a behavior gap sketch on their wall? I don't think so. Right? Like, maybe they realize that they have a challenge communicating a specific topic. Oh, turns out we have a solution to that problem. It's called a sketch on your wall. But they don't wake up thinking, my art really needs to be different in here. Like, and if they do, they didn't think of me. So, like, I'm just giving you an example of how we think about that. So I would think like, and remember, no one cares. The simplest way to solve this problem is to be really clear about the problems you solve. No one cares about your solutions, because the next step could be to market a solution. No one really cares about your solutions. They care about their problems. And once they understand, and so the easiest way to figure that out is to start talking. And I love this whoever wrote in this question, like, bless your heart, because it feels a little bit like we're picking on you. We're not. We're using your question as to pick on the whole industry, because we all do this, and Michael and I do it. We all do it. It's really, really hard. What's hard is we're not even sure. So if you can get really clear, and I think it goes back to niche and specialization, and we can go there if we want, but we've covered it ad nauseum before, is get really clear about the problem you're solving in their words.
But it's why my favorite question still with any and every prospect is just what brought you to this meeting today? It's just like, why are we meeting? There's a lot of days in the year and you've been on this earth a long time. You picked today as the day to meet me and tackle something that made you come to a financial advisor office. So like, what brought you to this meeting today?
Yep.
Because what people describe is the problem. Or like, I mean, my doctor asked me, why did you come in? Like, my elbow hurts. We get to the answer really quickly when the doctor asks what brought you to the office today. We have the same opportunity. And just if you do that systematically, ideally you start hearing patterns, right? Even if you're not sure what you're known for and what you're solving, ask to find out. You can even do this. You go through your review meetings over the next 6 months. Everyone that comes in, just say like, hey, I'm just wondering, like, when you started working with us a couple of years ago, like, I think you really ask this two ways because it gets the two parts. Like, why did you decide that was the time you need an advisor? And why did you end up choosing us? Which gets directly into the, like, what was the problem and why did you believe we had the cure?
Yeah, and I think from even like if you're wondering, like, this question's around marketing to me, like what? So decide really, like, you probably don't know who your work is for and why. And until we don't do that because we're scared to put ourselves, as Seth Godin says, like, put ourselves on the hook for standing for something. And so the easy way to do that would be to decide there's this population of people I want to help, and then go understand their problem. And as you do that research to understand their problem, do that work in public. I had a conversation today with an entrepreneur who recently sold their business, and they used this word. I did this on entrepreneurs with successful exits over 10 million. We went and interviewed a bunch. I kept hearing the same word over and over and over. It's a different version of the same word, but it was about this idea of the over-the-wall portfolio. I just want to keep playing this game because most of us in our industry, I heard this. I went and interviewed 10 entrepreneurs, successful exits. In the first 3, I had already heard it. And I was like, done. I mean, I went and did the rest of the interviews, but I was already like, done. Let me use a better example. Dentists. We interviewed about 20 dentists and wrote a white paper. In the first 3, I knew that we were going to call the white paper Unchained from the Chair, because every one of them said, I feel chained from the chair if I don't go to work. Well, their biggest problem was their number one asset was the present value of their future earnings. And no matter what their wife said, the present value of that asset was declining, no matter what their spouse said, right? So now I can say things like, do you feel chained to the chair, right? If I know who it's for, and I can do that work in public. I can say on LinkedIn, I just had a great conversation with an entrepreneur with a successful exit, and they told me about the desire to continue to be an entrepreneur while never seeing the foreclosure notice on the door again. If I'm an entrepreneur with a successful exit, everyone I've interviewed, they would recognize that language, right? And now that intersection is happening more often because the signal's clear. And so if the reason people aren't, I love what you said about owning it. If the reason people don't understand the critical issues we solve is because that's us. We haven't told them, and we don't want to tell them about issues. We want to tell them about, hey, we hear you. We understand the problem. Here's the words you use.
I mean, I've never met someone who actually didn't understand a critical issue that was impacting them. Because if it's that critical, they're super aware. Now, they may not all know all the reasons and causes and solutions. That's why we seek out experts. But like, when it's broken and it hurts, we know. And frankly, almost by definition, if somehow it's that bad and we don't know, it's literally not critical.
Right.
It's like, not critical unless it hurts so much that we are actually feel like we are acutely aware of the problem and feel motivated to do something about it. And so, problems that people refuse or ignore or don't understand, like, it means they're not critical. Not that they're not important, right? We got a long list of things that are important but not urgent that we never get around to. But the critical stuff that makes someone actually want to hire a financial advisor and pay us all this money to do all this stuff that we do, something actually has to be critical. And so if you're not sure what those critical triggers are for your clients, ask them what they were. And as you said, and look for the patterns, either the patterns, if there's a certain way that you're showing up consistently that you may not have even realized. And if you don't even see a pattern, then, pick the client you want to work with more of and do more of that trigger because apparently that was a good client, worked out well for you. So solve that problem and find more people who have that problem.
Ask them what they were and then share what you learn in public. Repeat over and over and over, and you're going to increase. You're just trying to do the intersection of the problem and the solution at scale. And the more you do it, the more likely it is to start happening. And I think the counterfactual of this problem, you and I can both point to plenty of advisors who literally have people waiting for their services. And I can't think of an exception. They are advisors who are incredibly clear about what the problem is and who they solve it for.
Yeah, they all do something that's in some way a little different and not mainstream, which means whoever it is that wants that thing, like, they fill up pretty quickly. Because at the end of the day, most of us can't take on more than 2 clients a month. More than 2 clients a month is usually stressful for most of us. You don't have a pretty sizable team. Some people 1 a month is stressful if you're doing a lot of planning work because it's really time intensive. So it doesn't even take that much to overwhelm us. I mean, 120 million households in the US, and more than 2 a month is hard for most of us on our own. So almost anything quickly fills your pipeline.
And I think this happens, which is why I don't even know where to start with people on marketing help if they don't have a specialized niche. Yeah. Because I don't know where else. Because if you have a specialized, we were in the Tetons this summer, Jackson Hole, and we had the water ski boat with us. And as we were coming into town, one of the tires on the trailer blew. And I've already demonstrated, like, my wife was like, there's not an option for me to try and fix that. So I called the only tow service that would answer the phone. And I said, could you come fix the tire? And he said, do you want to know how much it costs? And I said, does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, there's no one else to call. Like, please be fair to me. Of course it matters. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be $5. I knew it was going to be $100 to $200, but it didn't really matter. Like, if you're the one that solves the problem, I'm going to wait for you. And so I think the answer to this is get clear about what the problem is you solve, who it's for. The easiest way to do that is ask people and share what you learn, and then keep doing that over and over and over. And then suddenly those critical issues, I also like the word relevant, right? Like, but also with critical, I like the word relevant. So it's a fun problem. The truth of the matter is it's our problem. Like, the reason people don't recognize it is because we don't communicate.
Yeah.
And we can solve that. That's what's so cool about it, is we can solve that problem.
Yeah. But look, maybe we'll generate some social media disagreement for this. So if you want to disagree, like, throw it in the YouTube comments, come at us on Twitter and LinkedIn and all the various places. But I think, like, the fundamental thing I would put forth is, if it feels like your prospects don't care about the critical issues that you solve, you're probably not actually solving critical issues. And that you have to take a harder look at what are the issues that are actually really critical to them. Because if they cannot care or dismiss it that much, almost by definition, it's not critical. It could be important. I don't want to say, like, there aren't things that we solve that people totally put their head in the sand about and ignore. It's totally true. Seen it in life, seen it with clients. Like, I get it. I'm not saying that people are always super aware of everything that they need to do to improve their lives. But if you want to get to the business opportunities, like I think it's the right framing. Your business opportunities are issues that are critical. That's when they know they're sick, they're motivated to find a solution. And if you can demonstrate you have the cure, you have a great opportunity to win the business. If the issue isn't that critical, they don't have the motivation. They're not bothering to seek something out. And so are you really just solving the problems you want to solve, or are you solving the things that are actually really critical to the people you're trying to serve? And if you're not sure what the critical things are, as you said, like ask, have the conversation with some of your existing clients.
And the only tweak I would add, and it's not a but, it's an and, is, oh, actually it's an or maybe you are solving a critical issue and you're just not communicating it well, right? You're just, and I'm talking about prospecting mainly, right? Like marketing, you're just not communicating. You might be communicating the solution, or as Michael pointed to earlier, you might be communicating the outcome of the solution, peace of mind, all those things. And nobody cares about your solutions and nobody cares about peace of mind. They care about their problems. And so if you could just frame, maybe you are solving a critical problem, maybe you're not, many of us aren't, right? Like, and we need to get better about, but maybe you are, and you're talking about this stuff out here that nobody wakes up thinking about. They may be waking up thinking about, I just sold a business, I don't know what to do with the money. And you're talking about financial peace of mind. And they're like, dude, I don't even know what that means, right? Like,
yeah.
So I think that's the other place I would look, is just how are you talking about it?
Awesome. Well, thank you, Carl.
Super fun, Michael. Thank you.
Absolutely.